Hello, what's up, everyone? Welcome to our limited edition Golden Aaltar special. I'm Gravy, Pixelcraft Studios head of marketing, and today we'll be joined by Aavegotchi co-founder Jesse Johnson, aka Golden Cross. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll be diving into all the details surrounding Aavegotchi's big NFT reveal, Le Golden Aaltar. We'll explore this NFT's utility in the Gotchiverse, such as how equipping it actually helps you gather more Alchemica in-game. We'll also answer questions around the Golden Aaltar's unique approach to caps on rarity, its crafting requirements, and how you can ensure yourself minting at least one of these limited edition Gotchiverse installations. Another surprise these past few days has been a call to action hashtag on Twitter for something called a play drop. And yes, we coined it, as it perfectly sums up the difference between what the Gotchiverse is offering crypto enthusiasts versus your typical laundry list of airdrops, whitelists, and private sales. So, without further ado, let's bring on Golden Cross to elaborate on the significance of the play drop and what that means for Le Golden Aaltar. Welcome, Golden Cross.
Hi, Gravy. Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me on. And yeah, super excited to be here. And again, having some new reveals. It seems like we were just here, but now we're talking about new things like Le Golden Aaltar and this idea of a play drop. And what that is, from my point of view, it's something that encapsulates what we're trying to be and offer crypto enthusiasts, just like you said, which is basically something where when a new project launches, there's only a couple of ways they can go about distributing tokens to the community. And the sad part is a lot of times it's not that kind of pure crypto ethos that you kind of look for. Instead, you're running around and you're looking for, if it's NFTs, the case is you're trying to get on a whitelist, right? And you have to go in the Discord and they have a big list of things you have to do. And it's really quite frustrating. In our case, it's not like that at all. And in the other cases, if you're going for cryptocurrencies, like ERC20 tokens, a lot of times there's VCs that get in really early and they get great allocations, or the founders themselves have their pre-mine and their allocations. And the community or the gamers are the last ones to actually get their hands on the prime assets of whatever that project is supposed to be delivering. And so here, yeah, this is a perfect example, this kind of meme / infographic, which shows like your typical airdrop, which is not fair launch, usually doesn't hold any utility, and is always got a percent allocated to founders and all sorts of, the pie is really carved up. It looks like a pizza. And there's pre-mines and VCs, just like that's your typical thing. And the expectations are so low at this point that it's really refreshing that we're in a position where when we started designing the Gotchiverse, we wanted it to be truly play to earn, where there was nobody with a head start. It's a game where everyone starts on equal footing. So when the Gotchiverse goes live on March 31st, even me as a co-founder with Pixelcraft Studios, none of us have our own allocation of Alchemica tokens, these 4 new ERC20s. In fact, we'll be in there in the Gotchiverse playing to earn right alongside anybody else. The door's wide open and everybody's welcome to come, whether you own an Aavegotchi or you don't, because of things like Gotchi Lending that unlocks the ability to share your NFTs and your access to the Gotchiverse with basically anybody that is willing to come over to the Polygon network. So that's the play drop in a nutshell. I think instead of my long-winded explanation, that's why it like clicked when we were like, this is a play drop. This isn't an airdrop. This isn't a whitelist. This is you play throughout the alpha, which is roughly a 30-day scheduled experience. And over those 30 days of play, it is the minimal viable project of the game. Like, it is your MVP, but you are running around and being social and gathering up Alchemica tokens in real time. It's almost like a big Pac-Man game, or with Easter coming up, it's a bit like an Easter egg hunt, I guess you could say. Except in this case, it's not like 100 or 200 Easter eggs. This is going to be hundreds of thousands of tokens per day coming out and sprouting up in the Gotchiverse. And there's no head start for anybody. everyone is welcome to come in and play. And, I think that is the essence of what a play drop should be. And with play to earn taking off in Web3 gaming, I hope it starts a new standard, and we kind of raise the bar here on what should be expected from these Web3 games. And whether you want to go and play the typical, we're going to do VCs and hype fest and not have a product at launch, or do it this way. And I think hopefully everyone is able to get the word out, and also just hopefully it's a great experience for everybody. I don't see how it can't be.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be fantastic. But can we just take a second here quick just to take a look at these golden altars?
Beautiful.
So this is what people are going to ultimately be working for, the play drop, to gather enough Gotchus Alchemica to craft this beautiful Golden Aaltar and have that on their parcel forever. But with that said, this is a beautiful golden limited edition installation. But is there a quick dev update, or how are things going, shaping up for the Gotchiverse launch? Is there any news there?
Yeah, so in the Discord and other ways, I've seen some questions and concern about, okay, it's a play drop, everybody's able to come in and play to earn and eventually work their way towards a golden altar like you just showed. That's kind of the big picture. That's where we're working towards. But there's a concern about this rumor that there's only 1,000 players in the world at a time. To back up with some perspective here, one of the most innovative parts of the Gotchiverse that we don't talk about enough is not about the crypto side, but actually the team we've built up over the last 6 months to build a kind of a system of servers and the whole back end that is completely from scratch, completely unique and super powerful. If you've ever played like other games in the space, like Decentraland, other metaverses, virtual worlds, they have caps on how many players can play on one instance. And what that means is, Gravy, you might be on the same street as me in this virtual world. We're both on the corner of 5th and Parker. But I don't see you, you don't see me, because I'm on instance 1 and you're on instance 5. And so maybe the cap is a couple hundred players on one instance. And that really breaks the illusion of what a virtual world should be. And it's really, to me, it's game breaking. And especially if we're going to be doing play to earn in real time. This isn't a turn-based game. This isn't trading cards. This is like a real-time exploration and eventually like a melee battle game with traits and all sorts of carnage, cute carnage. So we really, from the start, said, is it possible we build something that is completely scalable in the sense that we're all on the same instance or the same dimension together? And I'm happy to say, even so, right there, like 1,000 at a time is already amazing, but we're trying to horizontally scale in a way that is infinite. And the only limitations are really, as Coder Dan says, the speed of light with servers crossing the earth and a little bit on the front end. So we're not at max, but for the launch, I'm very happy to report that we're going to be well over, we'll be able to comfortably start with 10,000 players, 10,000 Aavegotchis in the world at the same time from day one. And this is a huge achievement for the team, literally burning the midnight oil, burning their golden altars oil to get to this point. But it was confirmed in just today's dev meeting. I knew it would be higher, but I wasn't sure how high. And so we're going to start at 10K. And, there's 10,000 Aavegotchis in the first haunt. The second generation came out with an additional 15, but not all of them have been summoned. Some of them are still inside their portals. So, and some have been burned, right? So we're probably, at absolute max, there's maybe 17, 18,000 Aavegotchis in the world today. And if we're redlining, we're going to start it at 10 and we're going to push it as far as we can. And that being said, we'll see how it goes. Of course, it's the alpha launch, but very, very excited about that. So I want to get that out of the way and definitely share that good news. If we get over the cap and there's still, more players wanting to get in, we are looking at having a chronological queue a queuing system. So that will be very nice. It will have a nice lobby with a queuing system, and that will also be ready by March 31st when we launch. So all in all, you will all be able to have access to the Gotchiverse, no doubt about it. As time zones roll, as guilds come in and offline, everyone's going to have a chance to get into play this 30-day alpha Gotchiverse together in this play drop.
Awesome. Yeah, the entire team is excited for this, and we're super excited to let the community come on in and have some fun. But why don't we transition to the Golden Aaltar basics here? So before we do, let's get another dose. I'm just going to play that video one more time because I can't get enough of it.
Sure.
All right. I promise that's the last time I'll play that one, but it's kind of mesmerizing. But anyways, there are a number of things about the NFT that makes it very unique when compared to other NFTs in Aavegotchi or anywhere else in the crypto for that matter. Golden Cross, maybe we can start with all the origins, how the NFT is typically created and how the Golden Aaltar will be created itself.
Yeah, so there are some really cool differences here right from the start. Typically with an NFT, if you're an artist and you're making your own NFT, you will typically create the art, and then you'll go to a platform like OpenSea or Mintable and create, they have a UI that's very user-friendly and will let you upload your data, which is typically called metadata, and you create your own NFT, pay some gas, and you're able to create that. Then in other cases, if it's like a PFP project or something, you got to get on a whitelist. And then if you're so lucky, you're able to mint the NFT by paying that gas at the right time and place. It could be a first come, first serve drop, which, as you know, if you're Gotchigang, we moved away from that a long time ago. And instead, what we do is have something that's like more of an auction format where it's actually bid to earn. We could spend a whole day on that, right, Gravy? But GBM auctions, check it out. But in this case, what we're doing with the Golden Aaltar is something we haven't done before, and really no one's done before, which is have an on-chain creation process that is creative and gamified. And so we're actually gamifying the whole process where players aren't simply minting another NFT, they're actually crafting the NFT, crafting as in Minecraft or Clash of Clans, that kind of crafting where it requires specific inputs or recipes. And in this case, the recipes are the 4 Alchemica tokens. You have to have specific amounts of the 4. And if you get the 4 correctly put together in the crafting table, you will unlock the ability to craft the altar. Another cool thing is the altar is, as are all the Gotchiverse installations, they have levels. I shouldn't say all, most will have levels. So this is also very similar to your kind of Clash of Clans style gameplay where you're going to be leveling up your NFT over time. The metadata actually evolves dynamically. So you start when you craft it at a level 1, and you can craft, in this case, the Golden Aaltar all the way up to level 9. This unlocks more powers and more abilities for the utility of this particular NFT. So this falls under the category of a Gotchiverse installation because you install it or equip it to your land parcel. And so the altar, there's a normal altar that we announced months ago, and that's kind of like your very first installation. In fact, you want to start with that because it kind of kicks off the whole surveying process of seeing how many tokens you can farm from under the ground of your particular parcel. It's like drilling for oil. And then on top of that, there's this utility you referred to, you alluded to, which is called channeling, which is like your daily UBI of Alchemica. If you are a parcel owner with an altar, you're able to go visit that every day, and your Gotchi can do a little prayer, a little ritual, and like a rain dance, and Alchemica will actually rain down on your Aavegotchi every time you do that, so long as you're taking care of your Aavegotchi. There's this thing called a kinship score, and you want to make sure your Gotchi's happy. Chances are, if you're playing in the Gotchiverse, your Gotchi's pretty happy. So you'll be able to do that. In this case, Le Golden Aaltar, the LE, we joke and say lay, but it stands for limited edition Golden Altar, and it is the same functionality as your typical altar. The difference here is it's like the ultimate flex. It's the ultimate skin for your altar because it can only be minted during this alpha period, this first 30 days. And after that, it'll never be able to be minted again. So, you know, if you believe in the project and you're looking long-term, this is definitely going to be one of the most, if not the most OG kind of Gotchiverse collectible you could possibly have and display on your parcel.
Yeah, and when we think about, you know, having a 30-year outlook on this, the people that have the ability to craft this limited edition Golden Altar have a very, very large a step ahead of everybody else that's coming in the future. So it may seem like everybody gets one now as long as they put the play drop work into it, but these are going to be very scarce along the road the longer that we go. So.
Yeah, so we published this blog earlier today and invite everyone to check it out at blog.aavegotchi.com. It's on the front page, really easy to find right now. And it has a lot of the details for what we're going to go through in the next few minutes with you and just kind of keep everybody in the loop on, right? So let's go ahead and scroll through this a bit and see how you can also enjoy and get one of these golden altars. So yeah, this part's about the airdrop versus play drop. We're going to jump down here and get to the steps. So step one, you got to collect your Alchemica, right? And in this case, this alpha period is going to go from March 31st to April 30. So basically 30 days. And it's very unlikely that that will deviate. So we have budgeted out about 30 days for you to enter the Gotchiverse, run around, and you'll need to gather 3,000 FUD tokens, 1,500 FOMO, 2,000 alpha, and a mere 750 kek. That is the recipe for crafting one of these Alchemica, Golden Altars. And here on the screen, you can actually see a looping gameplay feature for how you will actually go about doing this. You know, when you're in game, this is one of the very innovative parts. You're actually gathering up tokens in game, but they're not quite ERC20 tokens yet at that point. They're going to be minted when you withdraw them to the blockchain. So you click withdraw and your Alchemica will literally be withdrawn or transferred from the gameplay into your, you know, MetaMask or whatever crypto wallet you like. And it will land there and be minted on the Polygon network. So that's what's happening here. Then, once you have those on chain, you go back into the game and you want to go, you can very easily just click the crafting button to open your crafting table. It's this giant anvil down here. And here you can see a looping function of how that would look. You're basically at the crafting table inputting the correct amounts. Then when you successfully find that recipe, you will see the level 1 golden altar appear, and you'll have the option to do an on-chain transaction to begin crafting it. And the crafting time is measured in blocks. So usually level 1 will be crafted rather quickly, almost instantly. The trick is later when you want to upgrade, then you have to spend more of the Alchemica and craft the upgrade, and those typically take longer periods of time, more blocks to actually do those upgrades. And that will unlock, like I said, better channeling in this case or other utility functions. So that is the key here. You want to be enjoying the game, playing hard, playing with friends, but ultimately gathering as much Alchemica as you can so that you can craft, if you're lucky, 1, 2, maybe even 3 of these golden altars. And then you're on your way, because you can either make utility of them and put them on your own parcels, or if you, oh, here's the 9, right? Check that out. So there's the 9 levels. But yeah, if you have plans to use them, that's great. If you don't, for whatever reason, feel obliged to use it, you can also, they're NFTs. You can sell them on marketplaces. Most likely, the most popular will be right at Aavegotchi. our own Bazaar NFT marketplace. So you can check that out right now at app.aavegotchi.com/bazaar. And of course, we spell it like Gotchi style, Baazar. So that's our marketplace. And it may not be day one, but you will be seeing the opportunity to trade these NFTs. They'll be listed on the marketplace very shortly.
Awesome. Okay. And we all know that digital scarcity is sort of the base use case for NFTs. The ability to prove how rare a digital asset is. Usually it's defined as like a one of one NFT, or you may have a cap of like 10,000 max. In the case of the Golden Aaltar, though, just how many of these can be crafted?
Yeah, so this is a big question. I think a lot in the community have been waiting on clarity on. So did some double checking of my numbers. At the end of the day, the unique thing here is it's not limited in that we said, you can only do 1,000 of them. It's more like the time and the Alchemica supply, because we only have 30 days. And of course, we had to budget. We know roughly or very specifically how much Alchemica will be released from the total pie, the play to earn pie, into the Gotchiverse during this first 30 days. So I'm going to drop some numbers here, and it might sound like a lot, but I'll give you a full context that this is really pretty reasonable and pretty awesome. So we're planning to distribute 500,000 FUD. And maybe before I get into this, I'll pull up a picture here. This is one of our community members drew up. Very, very informative infographic here. Keck is your rarest token, then alpha, then FOMO, and FUD is like the most abundant, right? So that's your Alchemica basics. And yeah, in this case, we're going to be distributing 500,000 FUD per day for 30 days. So that's 15 million FUD over the month. Now imagine we're in one district in the Gotchiverse, District 23, for this alpha period. We haven't opened the full world up yet. It's still a massive district. It's a big world. And we're going to have a max, 10,000 Gotchis live at a time running around. But don't worry, there's 500,000 FUD. That's just FUD coming out per day as pickups within the game. Then you've got 7.5 million FOMO for the month. You've got 3.75 million alpha. And the entire month is only going to offer 1.5 million Keck. So write those numbers down, friends. This is, I believe, the first time we've put those numbers out. It is all coming from the gameplay budget. So if you go back and you check chapter 2 of the tokenomics chapter of the Gotchiverse Bible, you can put these numbers in there and plug them in and figure it out real quick. We're only using, we're scratching the surface of the total supply of these, because remember, there's no pre-distribution. There's nowhere else to get them except in this game. So it totally makes sense to see those numbers going out there. And yeah, we're being cautious not to release too many Alchemica at the start so it doesn't get dumped and farmed or anything like that. But at the same time, at the rate we're doing, to give you some perspective here, the rate that we're releasing this first month, we played it out, and we could do that for 30 years, and we'd still have half of the total Alchemica supply. Does that make sense, Gravy? It's like we're really just scratching the surface here.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have thought a lot into this, and it's just amazing, just having a 30-year outlook to begin with, and to be able to calculate some of the numbers off of this.
Yeah, we're built for the long term here. So we did a little bit more number crunching here, and in a perfect world, you would, let's say it was just the most efficient market ever, and all of those tokens I mentioned got allocated to the Golden Aaltar. In such a case, there would be a max of 1,337 limited edition Golden Aaltars. That would be the absolute max if every one of those Alchemica was properly allocated and maximized. So that's we're not going to hit that max. I'm quite confident about that, because human behavior, right? Some people are going to hold the Alchemica. Some people are going to lose the Alchemica. Some people aren't going to have enough to mint, but they're going to keep it anyway. All those factors are going to come into play. But I think that's some pretty big alpha there, and it's the numbers that ultimately matter. So take that into account, and it gives you good perspective on why you want to be a part of this play drop in this first month. It's going to be pretty huge. So couldn't be more excited about where this is going, and hopefully everybody else listening, it feels the same way. We may have some questions coming in, right? So I know we're already almost to the end of the 30-minute we budgeted, but do we have any questions? We welcome them, and Gravy, if you see some coming through, we can definitely address them.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Hit up some questions that you got. Unless we did a fantastic job of explaining everything here, I know there's got to be some.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until we got some questions coming through here. Yes, I'm glad people, and I really love when a solid number comes around with that 1337. It looks like Thrax and Doopy picked up on that. So anyways, the team has been putting a lot of work into the game balancing itself, the tokenomics, and delivering an absolute unique on-chain experience. We should touch on what exactly these altars will do for players in the Gotchiverse. Let's start out with the purpose of the Golden Aaltar.
Yeah. So, I touched on it a little bit, but it's basically the same as the normal altar, except so what you're getting is that ultimate OG skin, the ultimate flex, and then the utility of channeling. That's the big one. You want to be visiting your altar every day and channeling, which is, like I said, it's kind of a ritual or prayer around your altar that's going to just render you even more Alchemica. And it doesn't deplete the Alchemica that you've found under your ground in your land parcel. Quite the opposite. We like to say the Alchemica from channeling comes from the sky. The farm equipment, the harvesters, they're bringing it from your parcel. And then the rest is coming from exploring the surface, which is what we're starting out with on March 31st. So yeah, it's maybe a few other utility or functions for the altar that are or are not announced, but we're going to just leave it right there for now. And maybe we can finish also by talking a little bit about what an exciting week's coming up here leading into the Gotchiverse launch. So a little housekeeping. We've got the rarity farming happening this Thursday. That will be the conclusion of the second round of season 3, where we're again distributing literally millions of dollars worth of GHST Ghost token. And so that'll happen on Thursday. If you have an Aavegotchi, you definitely want to be there for that. If you don't, stick around for March 28th. If you're not going to the bazaar to buy one right now, like you should be, you can go to hang out for the Gotchi Lending, which we talked about a lot last week. And Gotchi Lending is just about upon us, and a very innovative smart contract system so that you can actually borrow an Aavegotchi and take it for a ride in the Gotchiverse and play to earn for free, no upfront cost. Someone in our Discord left a message saying, what you guys have really offered here is a new format called free to play to earn. So I really like that. I tweeted it out today. That's a pretty good one. And it's also very accurate. Other than that, and then so you got the 28th with, you can get familiar with the Gotchi Lending, maybe borrow a Gotchi so you're ahead of the curve when the Gotchiverse goes live just a few days later on March 31st. And hopefully, if you have any questions or anything, join us in the Discord, the Telegram, the Reddit. The Reddit's been taking off. So there's so many ways to get in touch and hop into everything Aavegotchi, right? So Gravy, can you think of anything else, or do we see any questions coming through?
Well, there are a couple questions. I'm not sure if we can answer shot by Gems right now, but he asks, what time does the game launch on that day? Sounds like we'll probably have plenty of updates leading up to that actual time, but I would assume it's highly likely around the same times that we do all of our main events. Another question would be, Eden Grace, how do we rent a Gotchi? Good thing we just covered that recently. If you check out our YouTube channel, you'll be able to check out how the lending fee.
Oh, sorry, I muted you there, Gravy. As you started talking about it, I wanted to show this video. So this is the Gotchi Lending you're asking about. So for reference, anyone who hasn't seen Gotchi Lending, this is a quick preview of what the UI will look like on the 28th from the borrower's perspective. So it's basically Uber, but for borrowing Aavegotchis. You can see each one has a different duration. So you might be borrowing for a day, a couple days, even just an hour. And in doing so, you're able to check out their stats, and most importantly, check out the owner versus borrower split of the Alchemica rewards, because it's all hardwired in the parameters. And if in this particular case you see here, you, the borrower, will keep 90% of the Alchemica you earn over those 240 hours. Pretty ridiculous duration example. But that's the idea. So there's a pie to split, and you see that little icon there. That means you're borrowing it. And when it wraps up, you're going to see 10% of the Alchemica streamed directly to the owner. And in this case, you would be holding 90% of it for yourself. So that's kind of the beauty of the lending that's going to be going live on the 28th. And yeah, again, sorry to cut you off there, Gravy, but just want to show that and didn't realize it was going to have that effect. So
yeah, no problem. Yeah, but you can see that full video on our YouTube channel, or if you do need some more direction, feel free to jump in our Discord and ask around. But that will be live on the 28th. So people will be more than able to participate on day one on the 31st. But
that's awesome. And so that's probably a perfect place to end this. You've hopefully learned a lot about the Golden Aaltar, altars in general, and their functionality in the Gotchiverse, and what makes it unique. What's so special about this and the play drop approach that we're bringing. It's a very wide open door. We don't want to have any barriers to entry, and we want especially everyone who's already on Polygon Network and familiar with Polygon dApps to be able to come over and play to earn and do it freely and friction-free, and have some fun with the Gotchi Gang and grow this space together with best practices and an overall better, more fair type of Web3 gaming, because we don't need to use Web3 tech to remake Web2 and trad game, right? We want to make GameFi something special and something that all the naysayers have to sit up and pay attention to.
awesome. Well, thank you everybody for showing up tonight to get all this alpha around the limited edition Golden Aaltar, otherwise known as Le Golden Aaltar. Please feel free to leave a comment on our video after this is published, and give it a like and share so that everybody can learn the Gotchi gospel along with you. So thank you everyone for joining, and have a great morning, evening, or night wherever you guys are.